Assalamu alaikum. That's the end of my Arabic, so. Thank you all for inviting me to come and speak here. I'd like to begin by just saying what a great pleasure it is to be here, and what I'd like you guys to sort of sense from this room over here, and from Dr. Bahadri and all of the organizers for here, the number of people who want to help you guys succeed, the number of people who have made it a big purpose of their life for you guys, you scholars in the audience, to succeed. You know, people don't go into the education business to get rich. It may be a surprise, but teachers don't drive Ferraris, you know. Right? We go into the education business because we want to help. People go into education because they want to help you succeed. They want to be part of your success. Okay? And you can go in there and you can ask any one of those schools any question that may have nothing to do with their school, nothing to do with their program. But I strongly believe you'll get an answer. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, people are interested in helping you, okay? There's a lot of that here right now. So, you know, take advantage of this opportunity that's been presented to you. Now, I was asked to talk about the problems, originally, about the problems of Saudi students in Canada. So, I'm the manager of a language school. And I thought, okay, well, you know, I'll talk to, you know, the teachers and the staff and people that work in the schools and say, well, what you know, as my first try to say, well, what are the problems of the Saudi students? And they brought me back a list, but it wasn't the list of the problems that the Saudi students have. They gave me a list of problems they have with Saudi students. And they were things like, well, Saudi students can never wake up in the morning. They're always late. Right? They don't do enough homework. They need to study harder. Sometimes they wear too much cologne, right? And they do not mingle with other students. I was like, okay, those are interesting, but that's not what I'm looking for. What are the problems of the Saudi students? And so what problems do they have? What are your problems? What are the problems that you guys are facing? And well, some people say, well, they don't have any problems. They got all this money from the government. What problems could they have? Well, okay, that's not very instructive or helpful, so I had to sort of sit back and say, well, what are your problems? What are the problems that you guys face? And well, what do you have to do? What is the task that's presented before you? Is it an easy one? I'm not sure it is. Here's the list, right? Move all the way around the world, okay? Learn a completely different language, pass a test in that language, IELTS or TOEFL, something like that. Choose a university, get into that university, and then pass at that university. And you have a limited time to do that. It's not a simple task. That's a big endeavor. That's a big adventure. Too much to do, not that much time, huge expectations, and really huge decisions. You have a very short time to achieve some huge things. Not only that, but you must make these decisions in a foreign culture and in a strange language. Okay? You also have to choose what you want to do with the rest of your life. Right now. Within this time. That's also not an easy task, right? But let's talk first about coming to a foreign culture. You have to get used to so many strange things, the strange food, the strange customs, dogs running around inside the houses, right? All of the things that will take time for you to get used to. Get your first travel permit, wash your first load of laundry, maybe you've never used that machine before, right? And there's almost nowhere for Saudi students to smoke in Vancouver. Right? We're talking about culture shock here, guys. And culture shock is the first problem that you guys are going to face. For some of you, it's the biggest problem. There are stages to culture shock. And I used to teach a course at UBC about culture shock. And this is what it's about. The first stage of culture shock is, I love it here. Right? I love Canada. Everything's great. Everything's better than Saudi Arabia. The people are so nice. stage 2. Everything's terrible here. Everybody's so rude. I hate it here. I want to go home. Right? And then stage 3, which is, it's okay. I got it, it's okay. Right? I see this all the time in my students. Those of you who have been here for 6 months, now you know, you see the other students say, oh, that was me. Yeah, I remember that guy screaming at the guy in 7-Eleven for no reason. That was me 3 months ago. Right? And I know it because I lived in other countries too. So that was me screaming in Japan at the guy in 7-Eleven for no reason. I'm like, why don't you understand? I want a sandwich! Right? What happens to students because of culture shock? Well, a lot of this list of things that we were talking about. No one can wake up. That's a big part of it. Right? Losing your temper. Crying too often. Too much. Too emotional. Right? Get upset. Can't concentrate, can't focus. It's kind of normal, unfortunately. All students go through this. Saudi, Brazilian, Korean, Mexican, they all go through this, okay? You guys are just here longer, okay? They can see the end goalpost. They feel like they can see it. You guys, the goalpost a bit further away. It's there. All right, we'll talk about that goalpost soon, but you got to keep your eye on that target. That'll help, right? Right? So how do people deal with culture shock when they're in another country? Well, they look for things to make them feel better, okay? Now, they change their emotional state. A lot of people, it's just start eating. I feel better when I'm eating. Eat more food, right? Some people will go out and try to find ways to change their emotional state with alcohol, with partying, or they'll look for friends from the same culture. They understand me. Everybody understands me. All of this group of Saudi students will get together and we are all going through the same thing. And now it's very important to have that support group. But we'll talk about the drawbacks of that as well, right? It's all hard to deal with, and some students won't make it because of this. You've seen students in your schools, I'm sure, who just could never get up for school. They could never get up for school. Does that mean they're a bad student? Well, maybe not, but they just couldn't get up, so they failed. And they're gone now. Right? But you got to ask yourself, if you're one of those people who's going to get through this, is this really me? Am I really this person who's crying all the time and screaming all the time? Do I really need to sleep for 13 hours every night? Do I really need to cry when I'm watching 18? Things like that, right? Now, if you miss a lot of school, you will fail, right? You'll fail because and a lot of the times, people are failing because they're spending too much time taking care of themselves, doing things to try to make themselves feel better, to survive, to get through this crazy, weird place that's Canada. And a lot of that stuff that you do, well, it might work, but it's the wrong stuff, okay? Not only is this whole process hard, but you have to do it while you're studying. It's not a small challenge that faces you guys. Now, you come out of a high school system in Saudi Arabia or a university in Saudi Arabia, and you've got the scholarship. But the education system, I'm speaking from a language school point of view, right? Teaching English to people, helping them get into university. But in high school, I know high school for me was a long time ago, right? But I remember a little bit, okay? Don't tell me about how hard high school was, okay? Right? You could get points for just coming to class, right? It was easy. You didn't do anything a lot of the time, and then at the very end of the term, okay, you worked very hard, you could get the marks in and you pass, right? It's the same at university in a lot of ways. But learning a language doesn't work that way, right? English is so different. You cannot cram for an English language experience in one night. You cannot do it, right? English, you can't take a vacation the night before and work all night and do that essay. I'm in, I'm done, right? English is more like a sport, right? You can read every book in the world about soccer, okay? But you're never going to play in the World Cup. Okay? It's all about practice. Practice, practice, practice. And you have to work. I'm not talking about work every day. And I think I'm giving kind of a similar message to the man who came before. right? You know, there's no secret. There's no secret trick. You can't negotiate your way to better English. You can't bargain to get a higher mark. It's all fake anyway if you do it that way. It's just a little bit every day. Practice, practice, practice. You have to speak and 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 write 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 and write. And after doing it a lot, you get better. You will make mistakes, right? You will make mistakes. It's part of the process, right? But by practicing, you will improve. Now, I want to go back to the strategies that people use to survive culture shock, you know? You can, if you go out to the parties, if you do all those things, if you go and sit at the corner of Robson and Burrard and drink coffee all night, you know, I know it's funny. I see the guys there. I wish I knew what the joke was. They're laughing so hard. I think I saw you there, right? Right? I love that, but a little less, because if you do that all night, you will not pass. Right? You are expected right now to pick up self-discipline, and you don't have a lot of time to do it. Right? You just have to start doing it. Do your homework first, and then go out, but go to bed early and get up for school. Okay? It's not easy stuff, because the easy thing is, this is hard to live in Canada, it's hard to live in Canada. I know it. I'm sorry. I wish we could move Canada to Saudi Arabia and then we could do this there, right? But the easy thing is to forget about the homework and go to a movie. But the right thing is to learn as soon as possible, as quickly as possible here, good habits, how to focus, how to study, like brushing your teeth every day. Speak English all day from 8 until 8. How about that? Mm-hmm. Sunrise to sunset, maybe. A little bit during Ramadan, only English. No food and English only. Nobody's going to do it? Come on, try it. Now, I know it's on some levels you have a pretty good deal. You have a king who wants to support you. You get financial support to attend universities you'd like to attend, but it's a deal with there's a catch to it. There's something connected to it. You have to do something, right? The king has a plan for you, okay? But his plan is very different from how we do things in Canada. So the experience that you guys are having is very different from my experience and every other Canadian's experience in terms of education in so many ways, okay? Most of us in Canada, right, we try a lot of different things after high school. We'll go do this job for a while, travel here, go do that, do this degree, do this college course, do these things, and then after trying a lot of different things, we end up in some career. And maybe it's something that's not connected at all with our degree. Okay? Kind of a different process from what you guys do. Something like 60% of Canadians don't go into a career that's connected with their degree. Okay? Do you see what I'm saying here? And you guys gotta choose, you gotta do it. You gotta do it now! Right? That's a big difference from me, right? But you get the support. So there's the deal. Okay? But let you in on a little secret. Deciding is a good thing. Picking what you're going to do is a very good thing. Okay? Because eventually I had to decide, and I love what I do. Everybody eventually has to decide. So the fact that you're being pushed to decide now, trust me, that's a good thing. Okay? There's a famous saying among salespeople in Canada, and maybe it's the same in Saudi Arabia. Nobody loves the car and then buys it. Everybody buys the car and then loves it. Do you see what I'm saying? So whatever decision you guys make, there's a 99% chance you're going to love that choice. Okay? Maybe not the rest of your life, but for some time you're going to say, okay, I've made my choice and I support my choice. I love my choice. It's my choice. I love it. Right? Okay. Now, don't look back. Decide. Right? Decide and go with what you've decided to do. The root of the word decide, I'm an English teacher, so think about words, right? The history of the word decide means to cut. It's interesting, isn't it? When you decide, you cut off from every other choice. You cut yourself off from every other option. Okay, so cut, go, right? Now there are two things that drive people to succeed, and I think this is summed up very much better than I can say it. This quote's perfect. I should just stop here. Thank you very much, but I've got more, so I'll keep talking. There's two things that drive us to succeed. There's the carrot. You know the carrot? You know, the horse, you know the carrot. And then there's the stick. Okay? Now, which one do you think is the most successful at making people succeed? The stick or the carrot? Some people say carrot, some people said stick. Combination? Yeah. I'll tell you what, I think more people will work harder because of the stick, right, than for the carrot. We will work very hard to avoid pain, okay? We will work much harder to avoid pain than we will to gain pleasure. We want pleasure, for sure. And using two together is very successful. But if all you have is the stick, that works quite well. The carrot, well, the carrot's always there, and maybe I'll go to a movie, I'll get the carrot later. Right, you see what I'm saying? Okay, so you have to decide right now to think about what's the stick. Okay? The stick goes like this, and I love to think about the stick because I've actually seen my esteemed friend, Dr. Bahabri, use the stick very successfully. Okay? He is a master sticksmith. Okay? Alright? Now the stick goes like this. First we'll do the carrot, then we'll do the stick. You could decide to go to a movie tonight, not do your homework, or spend some of your money on alcohol, or go to a nightclub and sleep all day and go to school late. And those are much less work than doing homework. It's true. It's true, much less work. You can decide to succeed, which is the real carrot. If you do, that means you have learned self-discipline, rewards of your work. By using your English, you'll make friends from all over the world so you can practice your English. You'll have that good feeling that comes from doing something that, you know, means something, right? So many levels, that's incredible. Coming to another country, learning their language well enough to study at a university in it. Pass the university, go home, get a really good job and support your family. Okay? Now those are the carrots. The stick goes like this, right? If you don't do it, what will happen to you? If you don't succeed, what will happen to you? If you decide not to take part, what will happen to you? Well, maybe some of you say nothing. Well, maybe nothing. Is that good? Nothing happens? Not really, right? You know, I like the story that Dr. Bahabri told me about a father saying to one student, if you go anywhere and do anything, just remember you are carrying my family name with you. Okay? Your failure is carrying my family name. You've heard this story before a few times? Okay. All right. Now, I think that Saudi students, there's a bigger mission here as well. So that's the stick. Let me try and inspire you guys a little bit as well. I think that you've got a unique opportunity to take part in something very important. Right? This is a huge mission. It's an underlying thing that your king is doing here. I really feel this way. Not long ago, okay, in Canada, the only Saudi names that we knew, you know what those were? It's terrorists and hijackers and 9/11 and all this stuff, right? Okay? So, what a global benefit to having you guys here. All of you, right? To meet women from Saudi Arabia. Incredible. I know in Saudi Arabia there's lots, but here it's like, wow, cool. Right? But that's right now, like this is, you know, there's a global benefit, and you're more important than you realize in a lot of ways. You have to succeed. You're more important than you realize. You've been handed the chance to change the world's view of your people and your country. Okay? That's not a small thing. Okay? Now, you can take the best of Canada back with you as well. But the next generation of Saudi scholars will never be as important as you guys. Right? You guys are the vanguard. You're the first part. But if that doesn't inspire you, if the stick, the carrot, and the mission don't inspire you to work hard, okay, well, you know, you can sleep all day and not do your homework. But don't expect me to let you into class when you're late. Thank you.